one reason that the world always seems to be in such a mess and that everybody is depressed these days is that we don't really see one another as real people anymore. To an extent, this has always been true because, for example, the fact that I have a physical disability will lead a certain kind of person to assume that there is something wrong with the way my mind works, regardless of how much evidence I present to the contrary. But this has become a wider problem as our culture has moved increasingly into digital space. If you think about it, everything we are shown publicly these days, whether in corporate media or on social media platforms, is optimized for controversy, conflict, and outrage. Because the single most important metric to any of these companies is engagement. So if you are angry and depressed and looking at your phone all the time, that plays to their favor because they can show you more ads. Increasingly, I have begun to believe that these social media companies are a blight on humanity. They do not exist to serve or connect us. They exist to milk us for resources with very little concern for the damage they do to individuals or the cultures in which they live. Another problem I've noticed is that what seems to matter more than the truth is what side you're on or what side somebody decides you must be on because of the way you look or where you were born. Because I'm a white South African, there are people who will make a whole laundry list of assumptions about what I think or what I believe without ever even listening to me or having a conversation. And this happens all the time. For example, many in the international community see America as a nation of warmongers who constantly seek to involve themselves in conflict. And although this is true of many American politicians, I have American friends who I speak to on a daily basis. And for the average American, war with another country is one of the last things they want. And I would say that that's true of the majority of people. I would say that at the end of the day, most people, regardless of where they live or what culture they come from, simply want to get on with their own lives. But that is not what we are presented on the internet, and certainly not on places like Facebook, YouTube, or X. Because, as I say, conflict is the order of the day for these companies, because that's what gets attention. This is why, in my own life, even though I'm already severely socially isolated because of my physical limitations, I have made the conscious choice to use social media a lot less because it's like looking at the world through a distorted funhouse mirror at a carnival. Yes, what you're looking at does technically exist, but it is not an accurate representation of the thing that you see because there are bad actors who many of us don't even realize are manipulating our thoughts and perceptions to their own benefit. So, I guess the message I'm trying to put out with this video is that before you make superficial snap judgments about someone based on how they look or where they come from, step back and realize that every human being is a vastly complex thing and that you should consider this before you make any final decisions regarding what you think about them. I hope, as always, that you got something useful out of my content, and if not, too bad. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, and for now, farewell.